Hey YouTube, I'm back with another deck profile video. Today's deck profile video is going to be on the Prism Bermuda Triangle deck. Got a couple of updates with Prismatic Divas, not a whole lot changed, but I decided to revamp the deck a little bit and try to play around with the grade 3 lineup and stuff like that. Just to see if there's some new capabilities hidden within the Prism archetype. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Starters, I am running 2 brand new Prism Garnet. So last time I did have access to this card. I do have 4 of these. I'm only running 2 right now because I still feel like Ver and Labrador are still the better ones. So I took 1 of each of them out. So I'm down to 3 Labrador and 3 Vert. So 3, 3, 2. I still do strongly feel like these two are better together over this. This can be situational though, especially you have the ultimate break. So kind of like a Glory Maelstrom at 2 in the Maelstrom Aqua Force builds that I've done in previous videos. But as far as Prism grade 3s go, these are the 3 best ones overall. There are some other budget-friendly rares and commons that you can run, but I still feel like these are the most optimal ones to be featuring. Next, for grade 2s, 4 of the Orient Prism Ayari. So the Orient Prisms are the new Prisms that have come out in the latest booster set, so I'm trying them out to see how they go. One thing I don't like about them is that they're GB1 restricted, like this is no exception. But Ayari, in the later stages of the game where you're striding, on your stride turns, this card is pretty powerful. So that's why I am running it at 4 copies. May drop it to 3 in the future though. I'm just trying it out at 4 so I can see it the most in the games, just to learn how to use it as the best I can. Next, 3 Prism Promise Princess Celtic. So she's probably the one that you want to run 4 of, and you can drop this down to 3. But yeah, like I said, I'm trying the Orient Prisms out, so I'm maxing them. She's still a very good card. I am running 1 of the old Prism Promise Celtic. This is the original Celtic that debuted with Vert and Labrador way back in EBO 6, and then this one came out with the Harmony stuff. So yeah, it just has this is just a 1 of as an extra tech choice to see what kind of potential columns you can build. And then I'm running 3 Prism Image Sunshine Rosa. So she's returning from last year as the only other grade 2 that I'm running in here. Pretty good because every one of the grade 3s are LB4. There's even a stride unit that's LB4. So she's pretty good in here at 3 copies. So grade 1, I am running, well, it should be 4 Aria, but I only have 7 Arias, so I gave 4 of them to my Duo deck because Duos need them more than Prisms do. But 3 Prism Sentinels and then 1 random other Sentinel. I recommend not running Kukuri like this. If you want, run just generic Sentinels. Or if you don't have Prism Duo Aria, use 4 Kukuri, because she would probably be better because she's on flip. So just 4 Sentinels for right now. Then 3 Letty. She's pretty good card, support grade 1 for them. Yeah, 2, 3 copies of her is fine. Then 3 brand new Prism Emerald, so another returning from last year. These are my 3 ofs. These are my main grade 1 cards that function, do the most of the work in terms of the grade 1 lineup. Then I am trying a new card, Sweet Prism Rupina. So she's surprisingly not an Orient Prism, but she did come out in Prismatic Divas. And yeah, she's, I don't know, like that, the only reason I'm running 2 of her is because she's GB1. So her effect goes off when she's returned, and what it does is you can choose one of your rare cards with Prism, return it to your hand. If you returned a card to your hand, draw a card. So when she bounces, basically she can bounce something else and then draw a card. It has to be Prism. So, but I mean, you know, it's either this or run more of the other stuff. And then the last grade 1 I'm running is Yamarok. So I'm running 2 Yamarok. She is your power gainer that sits in the back row. So she typically boosts a rearguard line, or the rearguard columns. Every time you bounce something, she gains 3k. So it can stack pretty quickly. You can think of her as kind of like a power gainer. That's the grade 1s. For the trigger lineup, so after years and years of not updating the Prism trigger lineup for a long time, Bushiroad finally gave them a new exclusive trigger that is not also duo. So they got Sweet Prism Nellum. So she is a draw trigger with an effect. So I expect Bushiroad to start making more draw triggers with unique effects like this. Case in point, Bermuda Triangle is the clan that always seems to be the first one to be the most future-proof, because they typically get their cards once a year. So I feel like if you want to predict how the game will change over the next several months to a year even, look at what is in the Bermuda Triangle stuff, because they were the first to get the keyword, which was Harmony. That was the first one. They're the first to get Brake Ride, because Vert was the first Brake Ride, at least in English. So they're the first in terms of a lot of stuff. So new draw trigger with a new effect, or draw trigger with effects that are not like Margle effects. So that's pretty cool, although it is GB1 restricted. And it's a pretty decent effect. It'll bounce itself back to the hand. Or when it's returned to the hand, you can bounce another Prism, and it gets at the end of the battle that this unit... Oh no, you don't bounce another Prism. You give the Prism the ability to attack or boost and then send it itself back to the hand. So that's pretty cool. And then 4 of last year's Prism Critical that has an effect. And then 4 of the original Prism Critical. So 4 draw, 8 critical, very standard. Draws are fine in here because you generate a lot of critical pressure naturally with your Vanguard effect. And you don't run stride fodder, so you do kind of want to draw into your grade 3s with the draw trigger. And then Prism Heal. And I am still running brand new Prism Sapphire. So they did get a new starter in the Prismatic Divas, which is actually a rare, but I'm not running it because I opted to run the original, or the last year one, because I feel like this one's still it's easier to do stuff. The new one, the effect only goes off during the battle phase. This one is when anytime you rise something on Vanguard Circle, whether it's grade 3 or 4. So it works really well with Vert's Superior Ride, and then it can be Superior Brake Ride, all that kind of stuff. So that's why I still like this one more. So for the Stride deck, I did get 2 of the new Orient Prism Kaname. So 2 of her, because if you can get 4 and you don't have the older ones, then that's fine. But I feel like 2 of her is enough. Like you're basically, she persona flips, bounces 2 rear guards as part of the cost, and then it's when she attacks, you choose 2 cards with Prism from your hand for each face-up card in the G-Zone, and then you call them a separate R. If you call 3 or more, she gets a critical. So the way that works is, if you have 1 face-up in the G-Zone, you call 2. If you have 2 face-up, you call 4. So it's really easy to pull off. And the thing is, it's Prism, 2 cards with Prism in the card name for each face-up card in the G-Zone. Meaning it doesn't have to be her in the G-Zone. It can be any card in the G-Zone. So that's why, like I said, 2 of this is enough. You only really need to stride it like 1 time. Preferably not as the first stride, because you won't really be able to do that. Because you need to call 3 or more. So this is usually like 2nd or 3rd stride, depending on what your Vanguard lineup looks like at the time. Because depending on the Vanguard lineup, you could go into this, which is ideally usually a lot better than Kaname. So 4 Prism Image Sunshine Vert. People who are familiar with Bermuda Triangle or played against them last year know exactly why I'm running 4 of this card, because this card is really, really good. This was the first, as far as I know, unless Narukami may have gotten a Limit Break stride unit before this. Yeah, maybe Narukami got one, if I remember, with the Kaiser stuff. But she has a LB4. She's one of the first Stride units with LB4, so that makes it really unique. Which is one of the reasons why a lot of people will actually run the Grade 1 Limit Break Enabler. But I'm not running it in this build. I might put it back in. But anyway, Vert is really good, or Ver is really good. Especially if Ver, Grade 3, is the Vanguard, and you have either one of these, or just any other Grade 3, but ideally one of these two, in your hand to pull off the crazy superior brake ride. So basically, she does her thing, then she goes away, then you superior brake ride something on top of this, so then you get an extra 2 drive checks. So that's pretty nice. So 4 of that. 4 of it because sometimes, like, occasionally something can happen, and this is why people run the Limit Break Enabler. You can heal down to 3, then you can't use the skill, so then it just goes away. So you can, with 4 copies, you can at least try to do it again. So that's why we're on 4 of it. It does have that potential to misfire, though, being a limit break. Next, 4 Prism Promise Princess Labrador. So she's the first Prism Stride unit, whereas Versa's second and Konami's the new one. So 4 of her, she's not limit break. She persona flips, and you just have to have a Prism in the name, in the heart. She gets, choose 2 rear guards, and they get 5,000 power at the end of the battle. And at the end of the battle, they attack you boosted, you may bounce it to the hand. So she's pretty good, actually, as the first Stride. So that's why you could drop Labrador down to 2. So you could run Olivia or some other thing in here, but I'm just running all Prisms as much as I can for the Strides. Then 1 Nectaria, which is basically useless. I almost never stride this, but I am pointing it out because it is a Prism. Is also a duo. The duo skill on hit bounces something and then clones that card from the deck to the hand, whereas the Prism one just gives power to the unit 5k. So yeah. And then the rest are just G Guardians. So we've got Nasha, Leona, Palfi, and 2 Kitron. So that's basically it. You could take out 2 Labrador, throw in 2 Olivia, or run 4 Kaname, or don't even run Nectaria at all. Or if you don't have Labrador, it's not the end of the world, run Olivia. So there's a lot of different ways to go about playing the deck. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below about Prisms. I think Prisms are very solid. They've always been, even like way back in Break Ride format, they were always one of the most popular and most competitive Bermuda Triangle builds out there. So let me know if that still holds today. I pretty much sure think it does. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.